Hey everybody, Shay here. I'm going to do things a little bit differently today. I was going to prepare everything before I started recording, but my thought is I want to do this right here, this Magnus Archives. I don't know how many of you are familiar with this podcast from Rusty Quill YouTube channel. I have known about them for a bit, but I haven't been able to check into it because I knew there were going to be a lot of episodes and I knew I would sink in. And then in the back of my head, I was like, what if I do this as a reaction series? I don't need to, but what if I did? And so I sorted by oldest to get to episode 1 here. I haven't played it. I'm just trying to get the screen set up so that I can get this on the screen and just kind of measure things out as I go. But let me get like a slide deck going. I can just talk this through while I'm sort of recording whatever this episode is going to be, because that's what I do around here. I am exploring and engaging, hopefully inspiring at some point. I'm doing the best I can to just enjoy the process of enjoying production. And so I'm going to take you along on this journey, even though people likely just want me to get straight to the episode. Maybe that, I don't know how long this is going to take. It won't take long. I'll explain to you the process that I have come to tonight, to whatever this experience is. I'm bringing you all along on this journey. Maybe if this was live, maybe it would make more sense because I'd have the engagement with you along the way. I'm just talking to myself and I'm pretending that there's people listening to me out there. Okay, so here's the thought. I wanted to create a Google slide presentation here. I'm going to just name my title Magnus Archive Rating. What I was thinking of doing is I want to do a little bit differently. And I don't want to just react to a podcast because it's going to be this right here. It's going to be a still screen that maybe it just won't be as dynamic enough. And I want to give my feedback along the way, or I want to do commentary, but I don't want to do it over what I'm listening to. I want to be very careful of that as well. I'm going to assume that the people who do find this channel and find this content, that you've already experienced the Magnus Archives. And so I would ask, of course, be careful with spoilers to me along the way, because if I do this as a series, if I do this as a series, then I don't want to be spoiled, obviously, right? I know some stuff can't be helped, people get excited and stuff like that, but be very careful. Down in the comments below, anything from the episode I'm reacting to and before, that's open game to talk about, right? But everything else could be spoilers, because maybe people are also watching with me or alongside me, or maybe they watch it before, they watch my commentary or reaction or analysis. But I wanted to go, okay, but what can I do? What else can I do to make this kind of engaging and not just me reacting? And so I went to trusty ChatGPT to just help me brainstorm what I could possibly do. So first of all, I wanted to see if ChatGPT was familiar with the content. Now it has a search feature here in Wikipedia, so it was able to give me a synopsis. They're usually very good at not spoiling things along the way. I do have, the show has been praised for its storytelling and character development, amassing a dedicated fan base. In January 2024, sequel. So I didn't even know there was a sequel out. I'm already that late. I know there are 5 seasons of this, and so there's going to be quite a bit to kind of go through if I commit to this. It's going to depend on the interest, of course, of people who stumble on this, and this is maybe an episode 0 of this, just so people get an idea of my ideas coming into this, you know what I'm saying? So, and then I asked, okay, if I wanted to do a review of each episode, what are 5 qualities I can grade from 1 to 5? Because in my head I was like, it'd be cool if I could do like some sort of slide deck where like every episode has 5 criteria, and I was thinking more creatively than what ChatGPT dropped here, but this is a pretty much aligned to where I was going. But I was going to think of different kind of terms that I could use, or words, keywords that would just make it more amusing. But this is straightforward. It was actually what I would have wanted. Storytelling quality, assess the effectiveness of the narrative. Why am I reading this? That's what I'm asking. Why am I reading this? Let's just react to it. Okay, here we go.
Here are 5 qualities you could use to review each episode of the Magnus Archives.
While I drink my coffee.
1. Storytelling quality. Assess the effectiveness of the narrative, including the pacing, structure, and originality. Does the episode create suspense, keep you engaged, or provide an unexpected twist? 2. Atmosphere and horror. Rate how well the episode creates a sense of dread, tension, or fear. This could include the descriptions, ambient sound, and how vividly it immerses the listener in its unsettling world.
Very good, like it.
3. Character depth and development. Evaluate how well characters are developed in the episode. This could involve looking at Jonathan Sims's reactions, any insights into his character, or the depth of the individuals described in the statements. 4. Voice acting and performance. Consider the quality of voice acting, including tone, delivery, and emotional resonance.
Consider it delivery.
This is especially relevant for a podcast format where voice performance is central to creating impact.
Yeah.
5. Relevance to overall plot.
This is the if you want to
Rate how well the episode ties into or enhances the overarching plot or themes of the series. Is it a compelling standalone story, or does it add meaningful depth to the larger narrative? These criteria should help create a balanced review while maintaining a focus on both episodic and long-term elements of the the series.
Right. So this last one is, of course, hard to do for an episode 1 because I was thinking, well, how do I grade an episode 1 if I don't have any other context to go on? I don't want to make assumptions, right? And so I like this one, though, that there's a clause here or a condition, right? Is it a compelling standalone story? So I can take that into consideration as well. It doesn't have to be, does it connect to the larger overarching plot? For me, it might be world building. Does the world building feel compelling? I like these 5, and so I wanted to create a slide deck that organizes this in a way so that I don't have to keep repeating this criteria to the audience, and we can just start going straight into the episodes, and I can grade them while I'm listening. So you can catch my drift? It'll be playing on this screen, bam, but once in a while I'll go, ooh, that was a cool idea, and I can start taking notes on this screen, which will be for episode 1, right? So like episode 1, was it called Anglerfish? I might have to check that again. Anglerfish, one word. Okay, anglerfish, right? And then I would have whatever those, however I break this down. In the description below, I might point back to this video so that if people want to know how the criteria works, they can get this description because it'll be a video, of course. This is absolutely now going to be an episode 0. If I launch this, it's because I'm going to commit to at least maybe, I don't know, 5 episodes, let's say 3, right? And then we'll see where it goes, okay? Now, the next question I asked ChatGPT was, can you provide a short cheat sheet for what a 1, 3, and 5 might represent? This will give me my scale, right? It'll probably all start at 3, right? It'll be like a slider. And then as I'm listening, I'll slide this thing between 1 and 5, okay? Storytelling quality. Again, why would I read this? We're just going to listen to her while I drink the rest of my coffee.
Here's a quick cheat sheet for what ratings of 1, 3, and 5 might look like for each quality.
Let's do it.
Schreiber 1, storytelling quality. 1, the episode feels disjointed or predictable, with little to no suspense or originality. It might be confusing or fail to maintain interest. The episode is solid with some engaging moments, though it may rely on familiar tropes or lack a unique twist. 5, the storytelling is captivating and original, creating a seamless flow and strong engagement with a compelling narrative arc. 2, atmosphere and horror. 1, the horror elements feel forced or ineffective, lacking tension or atmosphere. There's little immersion in the eerie tone. The episode builds a decent level of suspense with some unsettling moments, though it may feel inconsistent. The atmosphere is haunting and palpable, drawing the listener into a chilling experience that lingers beyond the episode.
That's good. This is a very easy one
3,
to tap into.
character depth and development. Characters are one-dimensional, with little development or complexity. It's hard to feel invested in them or understand their motivations. 3, characters have some depth or growth, with glimpses of personality or backstory, but it doesn't feel fully explored. 5, characters are richly developed, with clear motivations and emotional resonance that adds complexity and invites empathy.
This right here, keyword.
Number 4, voice acting and performance. 1, the performance lacks energy or emotional nuance, making it difficult to connect with the story. Delivery may feel flat or inconsistent. 3, the acting is competent, with moments of strong delivery, though it might lack the full emotional impact or tone variation needed. 5, the performance is powerful and nuanced, enhancing the story with expressive emotion and perfectly suited tone.
Yeah, this is going to be easy.
5, relevance to overall plot. 1, the episode feels like filler with little impact on the larger narrative or themes. Its connection to the plot is unclear or minimal. The episode contributes some relevant information or background, though it may feel secondary or not fully integrated into the main arc.
So world building standard, but
The episode adds significant depth or intrigue to the overall plot, providing essential insights or developments that enrich the larger story. So using this guide can help keep your reviews consistent and grounded as you explore each episode.
Thank you, ChatGPT. So very easy to kind of immediately know what feels like a 5, right? Like it's very clear. So providing essential insights or development that enrich a larger story. Like that's like, for me anyways, like as I'm listening or reading something or watching something, there's like a moment where you're like, ooh, that was a 5. Like, because I've been doing this for like novels on Goodreads and stuff like that, right? And sometimes I'm like, is it a 4 or a 5? And like, I don't want to just hand out 5s. Like 5s are like, everyone should try to read this. Like pick it up, read it. Like even if it doesn't feel like your book, you should probably give it a go, right? And so I don't really feel that way about many things that I read. I don't feel like everyone needs to read a certain book because like maybe it's like, oh, too genre-y. And it's like, I don't think everyone's going to just give this a shot, you know? And so I would say 4, right? Because I can't give it 4.5. But those were would generally be like, yeah, but you really should. Maybe a 4.5. It's like everyone needs to experience this thing. It's a 5. So 5s are rare for me when it comes to book ratings, right? Now, when it comes to like an episode review, the reason why I want to have a more granular system like this is because I really wanted to think about each of the components, add all those numbers together, and have a more robust score around it. Because again, if this goes decent, right, and I kind of want to keep doing these and people are digging it, then I would do like a tier list-esque kind of scenario, right? I would be tracking all of this as I go. They will all have a score at the end of it, and then at the end of, let's say, season 1, then I would have all of these episodes rated top to bottom, and I'd be able to maybe revisit them and understand why. Or, oh man, wouldn't it be great if there was a re-listening grading alteration? Like if you were to, in hindsight, like go back and then re-listen to things, does it change your opinion because of stuff you know in the future that you wouldn't have known in context when you listened? Does it make it better or worse? That would be a really cool granular experiment to go on, and that's why, like, I don't think this is for just general audiences would care about this kind of stuff, but this is the kind of stuff I would probably do as the hobby of listening to something like this, because I like to do deconstruction, I like to analyze storytelling, and this feels like, based on up here, based on the summary, right, it feels like there's a reason why it has a pretty strong following, right? Because the storytelling and characters seem to be extremely strong. Of course, that's going to make it very compelling for me to want to at least try this and see what it's all about and see what people are experiencing out there and talking about. And fandoms are always amazing to me, right? When fandoms grow, there's a reason for those things to happen and how they happen. And that also intrigues me because it's another layer on top of, especially when storytelling, it's another layer on top of why that storytelling becomes so captivating to an audience. And I want to know the details behind that. I want to know the gears inside that kind of machine, and kind of, this is my way of maybe getting at it, and maybe it'll be fun. So this is the slide. I'm gonna turn this into prettier. I'm gonna make this prettier. I won't talk while doing that because I already have the basis. I've already got my 0th episode for this that I can just launch right now and see. Let YouTube algorithm do its thing. As terrible as it is, sometimes it reaches the right people at the right time, and we just see where it goes. It's gonna be pretty straightforward, and each slide is gonna be an episode, and then we have the history of the slides, and it's easy to get at. Maybe the production isn't like stellar, it's not professional around here, it's just a vlog, but if you dig the idea of this and you're curious to see where it would go, and if you're just finding this channel because of the 0th episode where there's not even content about Magnus Archives, let's tell you what, I mean, we're at the end now, I'm giving my outro, but what if let me just check to see if they have, like, do they have a trailer or anything like that? Like, I literally still don't know anything outside of what was talked on Discord. Someone has spotlighted this content probably a couple years ago at this point, probably 3 years ago, and I've tagged it. I saved it for the moment where I could actually create content like this again, or not again, this is for the first time. I feel like I'm on a different track right now, and I just want to get into the creative world, especially storytelling. I'm going through the archive here, and I do not see a trailer though. So are there no trailers? Oh my god, how long was season 1? Man, no. This is probably like no. How do I know when like right here? What's this right here? Season? So is this season 2? No. How do I know when the season changes? Is it obvious? Because it says, oh, it's gaming here. These are whole different content. Oh man. All right, well, I'm not going to scroll anymore. I don't see a trailer. What if I search for, I don't want to search for, because I don't want to spoil myself, and I don't want to know more than I need to know. You know what I'm saying? Is there a Wikipedia page or something like that will give us some extra context here? Give me a sec. Let me try to search around. Magnus Archives, Wikia? That's a terrible capture. Let's just see what this looks like. Oh, that's terrible. Hold on. I'll fix this. Okay, that's actually pretty good. Okay, so we have, see, I don't want to spoil anything. So I got season 1, but I do kind of want to know how long do these run for. So they go for, that's okay, all year. Okay, there we go. We got this. What's this? 1 anglerfish. They wrote it, not words together. We got seed, pre-launch trailer, launch trailer. So they do, okay, and then it goes to 40. Okay. Ooh, look at this. Don't look at the titles. We have seed. What is seed? 01. Mag. What's a mag? Oh, Magnus Archive. Wait, what's the G stand for? Magnus Archive. Figure this out, folks, or I mean, someone will likely point it out. What am I missing? What am I not seeing? First pre-launch trailer published on the podcast feed. What is a podcast feed? Can I? Ooh, there's a trailer. Okay, cool. Let's go to the audio. Let's do it now. Let's do episode 0, folks. Okay, that would make sense.
Hi everyone, it's Lowry. Today I'm here to advertise a fool's errand.
There he is. Okay, so where do we start here? Right here? Right here? Just a creepy audio. Okay. Okay, that's a little bit creepy.
The Magnus Archives, a weekly horror podcast by Rusty Quill. For more information, visit rustyquill.com.
It's a lot of work, man, for a week. And that's it. Wow, it was like a 4-minute podcast with a few seconds. That wasn't really useful. This Wikia is a little bit too thorough, I might say. Let's go pre-launch trailer. Maybe this will have a little bit more context. Like, give me something. Let's get a first listen reaction here. Pre-launch trailer.
Hi everyone, it's Lowry. Today I'm here to advertise a Fool's Players build the closer the world gets to the next.
In the Magnus protocol, this episode is sponsored by Google Pictuations Quickly. If I simply ask to find and summarize what I need more about Gemini and the new Google Pixel 9 at store.
Well, I hate to speak ill of the dead.
See you later.
All right, here's the actual start. It's not that long, but a lot of
Test.
before.
Test. Elias, hopefully if you hear this, it means I've found a way to record those difficult statements I was telling you about. While I hate to speak ill of the dead, the previous archivist left this place in such a dreadful mess, and even an organization with such an unusual focus as the Magnus Institute needs a well-organized archive. As you know, I've been going through trying to digitize and record audio versions, but I've been having trouble with a few of the more bizarre statements. There have been sufficient distortions as to make them utterly unintelligible. Thankfully, though, I managed to unearth this old tape recorder from storage, and these cassettes, archaic as they may be, are still better than nothing. So with that in mind, I thought I'd take it for a spin, as it were. I've taken the shortest of the problem statements, and I'm trying it here. Frankly, I wouldn't normally bother with something so fragmented, but it should be fine as a test. Statement of Jacob, no second name given, regarding God knows what. Original statement given July 15th, 2011. Statement begins.
This is pretty
It'll
current
get
day.
you too. You can stare all you want, make your notes and your inquiries, but all your beholding will come to nothing. When the time arrives and all is darkness and butchery, you'll wish you had stopped listening and run. Statement ends. Yes, well, you see why I wouldn't have otherwise recorded it. Not exactly something for posterity, but nonetheless. Let me know if you are able to hear that correctly, Elias. If so, I think we can begin transcribing the rest of the statements.
Why wouldn't Elias be able to hear that
The
clearly?
Magnus Archives, a new weekly horror podcast by Rusty Quill. Coming soon.
Okay. Interesting. Let me just get some high-level summaries here. Struggling to record certain statements because of severe distortions. He has unearthed an old tape recorder. Yeah, but why couldn't he just use his phone? Like, so if he's in there, he doesn't have access. Is he trapped in there, right? I'm already saying things that are way too speculative. So, if arcade technology has better luck than digital recordings. Oh, the digital recordings are messing up in there because there's shenanigans in the archives that are messing the recording devices. Never mind. My speculations are clear. Okay, statement. It'll get to you. You can stare all you want, make your notes and your inquiries, but all your beholding will come to nothing. When the time arrives and all is darkness and butchery, you'll wish you had stopped listening and run. That seems foreboding. Okay. Post-statement. Considers the statement too fragmentary to be useful. I wonder if that's going to be like some seed that like carries through somehow. Anyways, and then asks Elias to let him know if the recording was successful. Why don't you just contact Elias? Is he shipping these tapes off somewhere? Like, you can't just go with the coffee with Elias and find out? Don't spoil me. I'm sure there's like, this is all going to come together. Continuity. Oh, no. I probably don't want to read anything past that. Okay, and then we have, I think I saw 0.3. What are we looking at? Launch trailer. Pre-launch trailer, launch. Sure. I mean, we're thorough. Episode 0, we're doing some MAG, whatever the G stands for. Episode 0s. I can just do the transcript if you don't want to hear. No, let's go to the audio. Don't be lazy. Okay. So for skipping your ads, podcast. Okay.
Statement of Nathan Watts regarding an encounter on Old Fish Market Close, Edinburgh.
Okay.
Original statement Hello?
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 Okay, that's good.
This archive is off limits. Is anyone there?
Okay.
Martin?
That's pretty creepy, I guess.
Martin, is that you?
Uh-huh. Martin. Okay.
I swear, if he's brought another dog in here, I am going to peel him.
Wait. That's a strange threat as well. Where'd you go? Still playing. Okay, it's really dark in here. I just got chills right now. Okay. I wonder if there's something. Is this backwards or something like that? Alright.
Piles and files on a shelf right over my kid. Oh, it's still running. Let's try this again.
Okay. That's creepy. It was creepy for its simplicity.
The Magnus Archives,
Yeah,
a weekly
okay.
horror podcast by Rusty Quill.
That's good, okay.
Available now from iTunes and all good podcast providers. For more information, visit rustyquill.com.
So strangely enough, if I had a grading system at this point, I could have created the episode zeros. So after I designed this, maybe I might grade like just a bonus slide here for episode 0 or something, because it's cool. Like already I can sort of okay, let's talk this through, because I can just, with the magic of editing, I can make this somewhat reasonable. If this were an episode 0, so let me duplicate the slide and let me just go 0 pre-launch, so launch clips. Good enough for now. We'll figure it out. Okay, so, I mean, this isn't going to be the layout, but if I were, okay, just think about storytelling quality. It was so short. I'm going to think of all of them collectively, They were so short, but I mean, the point of them was to be short. They were stingers, and to kind of bring you in. But, I mean, when you talk about, like, the effectiveness of storytelling, like, that 0.3 clip was actually pretty effective because I felt it. There's, like, there's a feeling rule. Now, the feeling rule, though, is that the atmosphere? Because that might have been, like, the atmosphere for me would have been, like, the sound. It would have been whatever that voice was, like whatever it could have been, right? That brings its own atmosphere in horror. So it could be a horror, but at the same time, from a storytelling perspective, like it was very small, but if I think about it in arcs or in like phases, I got this 4-phase structure that I sort of analyze things with in quarters. Act 1 is the first quarter. Act 2 is 2A and 2B. It's usually 50% of the middle, and then the last quarter is Act 3. But if I think of it in that way, it was effectively set up as, strangely enough, Act 1 was like, here's the statement that I'm about to talk about. I hear a noise. That's your like catalyst, and then he wanders off, and him wandering off becomes your Act 2. I'm getting chills just thinking about the way that they rolled into that, because it was effective. So the roll into Act 2 is just you hearing the same thing. It just gets louder as it goes, and then it goes away because Jonathan Sims comes back. It's like the end of that Act 2 transition to Act 3 that becomes the sort of climax of like the oh crap moment, and then he's like oblivious to that it even happened, but it got recorded on tape, and so obviously he's maybe going to find out about it because he plays it back to himself, or maybe he recorded over it and only we got to hear it. And so there's a bit of I don't know how the reliability of the narrator comes into question, right? Like, are we knowing more than the narrator, Sims, right? So, and then Act 3 is basically, let's start this again. It's like, that was a good arc. So storytelling quality was pretty effective for its shortness. It sucked to kind of penalize it for being short, but I don't know if it'd be a 5, but it's also like, what am I dinging it for? It's like, what am I dinging it for? That it wasn't robust. But then you're like, yeah, but if you just added more content to that, would it have made it better? Or was it was a flash fiction at the end of the day, right? And you have to kind of grade flash fiction different than you would a short story or a novella or a novel. So I don't know. I don't want to come across as like being overly positive with the gradings. I want to be critical, but I am also kind of going, I really don't know if adding more would have made it better, so I'm gonna say 5 because it was effective. It got me. I think I'm good. Atmosphere and horror, I would say I'll ding it a little bit. I'm gonna say a 4 here, and the reason for that is like it got the chills on my spine. That's gonna be like a 4 at least. It's gonna go immediately 3 to 4 if I get like a vibe, and I'm feeling it. Then it's gonna go 3 to 4. That's almost certain. If I get no feeling while listening to one of these episodes, it's gonna likely go to a 2 or 3 depending on what else comes up. But that's kind of my first benchmark. A 5 would be like if it leaves like if it stays with me, like I really feel it. So I'm gonna say 4. I'm intrigued. 4 is like in summary is I'm intrigued. And so just a reminder here, we got the 5 here. The atmosphere is haunting and palpable, drawing the listener into a chilling experience that lingers beyond the episode. So it has to linger beyond the episode. And I got the 5. So, but it was more than this, you know? I mean, it was at least this, right? Suspense with some unsettling moments. Act 2, if you will call it that, the phase 2 and 3, it was unsettling. It was unsettling when it started more than when it ended, I would say. It was at least between a 3 and a 5. There you go. There's the breakdown there. Okay, character depth and development. Character have some depth or growth with glimpses of personality and backstory. So we're at least at a 3, right? And again, the Flash Fiction podcast that we got, we do get that Sims is in this archive. He has a motivation. I'm using 0.2 and 0.3 for this review, right? It's like, we know that there's a drive to kind of capture the information there and send it somewhere else. So in the very little amount of time, man, we got at least the promise of depth, I would say, and growth potentially. And then personality, yes-ish, but we need more. But because it was so short, I'm going to give it a little bit. I'm not going to penalize it for anything. Backstory, a little bit. Again, for a Flash Fiction, we got enough. You kind of feel like you understand what the Sims character is going to be doing, like, you know what their goals are, and so I can't ding it for it because of its length, and then but it doesn't feel fully explored. Well, it can't because of its length, and so we're at least at a 3. And then characters are richly developed, clear motivations. I would say yes, I believe that's the premise. It was literally the motivation of why the Magnus Archives are going to exist and get recorded. So we're at least at the 4, because I'm already got one piece that moves me towards that 5. Emotional resonance and adds complexity and invites empathy. I didn't get this because it was short, and I'm gonna ding it a little bit just because I can't just give it a perfect, like, with so little. But I would say that, hey, it's a promise to greatness is how I feel confident that it's going to get there at this rate because of how short this was. And then voice acting and performance, I'm going to say I'm at least at a 3 here. The acting is competent with moments of strong delivery, though it might lack full emotional impact and tone variation. I'm going to say I'm at least at a 3, and I'll explain in a sec. And then 5 is the performance is powerful and nuanced, enhancing the story with expressive emotion and perfectly suited tone. I'm going to say I'm probably going to stay at a 3 here. Maybe it gets better, but it obviously sounds like a lower production sort of setup. I felt like the music was maybe a little too high, and it wasn't really balanced with the narration, and so that was a little bit off for me. I do like that when he walks away from the recording setup, he actually like walks away. Like you can imagine him walking away. That's not what I'm complaining about, but I feel like when the music comes in, there's something about this. There's an imbalance there that's maybe throwing me off, and I don't have enough to go on with Sim to really kind of get this powerful and nuanced. I don't think it's there yet, but it's getting a point across, and I think it's decent. So you know what, 3 is still good, right? And then we got the final one. We got relevance to overall plot. I say I can't. There's no way I could understand where this could go, but I'll talk to you about like where I would at least be more than a 3, possibly. So this episode contributes some relevant information or background. It does. 0.2 and 0.3, both of those. Though it may feel secondary or not fully integrated, I don't think so. I think it's more than that, so it's at least a 4, right? And then 5 is the episode adds significant depth or intrigue. It does. So despite it being short, despite me not really knowing what the overall plot was, there was the promise of the premise of there's something creepy going on. It's getting captured in the audio, which he was using a tape cassette, and it was still getting captured. But the reason why we got the evidence like in 0.2 is that he couldn't use digital recording because the digital would get screwed. But we got analog getting screwed now too with this weird creepiness. So that is weird, but it does set up the promise of depth and intrigue with just that little bit, because it's the seed of something that could come. Providing essential insights. Well, yeah, there's something shenanigan-y going on. So that's fair for, again, the shortness of this. I would give it a 5. I would. I mean, for a trailer and for its simplicity, it's almost like getting a 5 because of its simplicity. Because I'm a fan of Flash Fiction that really like nails it, in the fewest amount of words possible. It was a fascinating exercise for me a couple years ago, maybe a decade ago. I did a 30-day 30 Flash Fiction challenge, and man, I would spend hours on some of these sometimes, because you just got to really hone in on what is it you're trying to say in 500 words. Words? Characters? What did I use? I think it was characters. I was like extreme Flash Fiction. So there you go. We get something like this, and then maybe I'll have some sort of total somewhere, right? I mean, just so that we can like track it against something. We got 10, 18, 21. 21 out of 25. That ain't so bad for an episode 0, right? Now this is again raw. We're gonna clean up the slides to make it all pretty, so that all of them are gonna have this like a really clean design. Yeah, I'll see what I could do with the slides so that it becomes visually appealing. And there you go. Production's raw right here, folks. Episode 0. This is a teaser trailer, I suppose. I don't know. Wow, 45 minutes. Okay, I'm gonna chop this down into something reasonable so that this can still work as a reference for later on when we actually get into the episode reviews. I won't flip back and forth to something like this to talk about the breakdown. I'm just going to link to people to this episode so that they can get the context if they want. And there we go. I mean, I'll talk about it if I have to explain myself right through it, but for all intents and purposes, there you go, folks. Let me know what you think in the comments below if you want. If you've stumbled on this somehow and you're intrigued about a new person coming at it, and maybe I've given you my teaser of how I would approach some of these things and break things down, you can check out other content on the channel to kind of get a vibe for what I would try to bring to this. I like narrative deconstruction. I love character analysis, and I'm intrigued. So I'll catch you in the series if you're going to be along for the ride. Thank you for your time. I'll catch you there. Don't forget to explore, engage, and inspire. Ready? Peace.